We are going for a whole hour. Straight dog talk and the song. Jump on in and speculate. Show up on time, don't be weak and late. We are community, so don't hate. And learn to cooperate. Yeah, hit that like button and do your thing. 5 membership will get you in. So let's talk dogs and don't waste no time. Monday 7 PCST. Don't come doing the HATE. Otherwise Hollywood will give you the BYE. Here we go, kill the whistle. Oh yeah, we are going for a whole hour. Straight dog talk and a song. Jump on in and speculate. Show up on time, don't be weak and late. We are community, so don't hate. And learn to cooperate. Hit that like button and do your thing. 5 membership will get you in. So let's talk dogs and don't waste no time. Monday 7 PCST. Don't come doing the HATE. Otherwise Hollywood will give you the BYE.
The BYE. What is going on, fams? Friday Bully Live, man. We're going to be talking about how to pick puppies. How to pick puppies. It's always a big topic, man. It's always a reason to kind of sit around and not just listen, guys. This platform, it's not for you to just sit down and listen. I mean, you can do that if you want to, but this is more of a conversation. That's why I'm no longer calling this a podcast. This is more of let's sit down, let's talk. You know what I'm saying? Let's have a conversation. Let me know what your experiences have been. I'm going to let you know what mine are. And, you know, we're going to end up with a good result by the end. Felipe Hernandez Rondon, by the way, I got to shout out my guy over here, Mr. Saxton Pitts. Hey, man.
Pues claro que sí, cabrón.
Pues claro que sí, cabrón. We do this every Friday. We're doing it now every Friday at 7 PCST. We also do it every Monday at 7 PCST. And let me tell you something, man. I'm enjoying it. Today, for the first time, we actually went live near noon, I want to say. And I had a bunch of people from Europe coming on board. We were having one heck of a conversation. And this particular live, we're going to go ahead and finish up that conversation as to, you know, when you're picking pups and whatnot. By the way, let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. I'm not sure if the mic's too far away, so let me know. And man, let me tell you, after the live, I got so many people writing to me, telling me things like they had never heard some of the things that we spoke about or that I spoke about. And that makes me feel good, man, because we kind of help each other. I help the community kind of open up their eyes a little bit, especially for your newer guys, right? Don't get me wrong. Nobody here knows everything, starting with me. I'm not the sole owner of the truth. I'm only the sole owner of my truth. And that's what I compart and share with you openly. Esoteric Wiz, Raul the Guru, number love, man. Appreciate you. Queen's New Blood Kennel, MBK, what up? Felipe Hernandez Rondon, what's up, fam? Nothing much, man. Sup, Sulema Santiago, all the way from Philadelphia, PA. Freddie Strebia, good evening, Bully fam. Let's get our notebook ready. No notebooks. No notebooks. If you need to rewatch this, you go ahead and rewatch it. I want you to make a mental note. Some stuff, let me tell you guys, man, even when I'm talking about genetics in particular, whenever I'm dealing with genetics, a lot of times I got to read things over 3 and 4 times. But because of technology, now I just make voice recordings and then I replay them over and over again. And then it all makes sense after you hear it 2 or 3 times. Sometimes that's just the way you got to do it. What's up, Jaira Grimm? Esoteric says, we in here, QBN fan. By the way, guys, give us a like, give us a share, give us some love, man. We're about to compart some good info in here. Rican Blues, like always. Michael Higginson, what's up, my guy? What's up, Bully fam? Michael Higg, number love, brother. Appreciate you, Shay Tree. Good evening, Bully fam. Like always, Shay. Dupree says, I love singing that theme song when I catch the lives on time. What's up, Bully fans? Smash the like button. None beloved Dupree Anders. Appreciate you, man. Adam Fields, pour on the sauce. Here we go. Hit the big X on the top right corner of the screen and hit the like button respectfully. Then hit live chat. You won't miss a word. Check it out, man. They even let you know how to do it. Rick and Blues loud and clear. Okay, so you're able to hear me. I hear you just fine with my tanker ears. All right, well, tankers, that boom in the tank affects their hearing. So if you're a tanker, you can hear me. I know you're hearing me loud and clear, man. Good brother Kennels, we hear you 10-4, and we sounding good, man. Let's get this started. So look, man, there's a lot of things that go into selecting a pup, right? So we're going to kind of build it up from the bottom up, nice and slow, because there's a lot of things you need to be looking at. It's not just, oh, that's the puppy I like, let me go running and get it. There's a lot of things, from technicalities to things that are tangible that you can touch and feel, and things that are intangible that you must be very aware of. Unfortunately, in today's day and age, you know, we have a lot of scammers out there, guys, a lot of scammers. I'm going to tell you guys a couple of things about scammers. First and foremost, scammers will always go after the low-lying fruit, okay? The easy pickings. What do I mean by this? I'm going to tell you guys this right now because I was actually written to today by someone asking me what should they be expecting to pay for a bully. Now, what I'm about to say, thank you, DCG, number love, appreciate you. What I'm about to say doesn't apply all the way across the board, but I will say this. For me, when somebody's selling you a pup less than $3,000, it's an immediate red flag. It doesn't mean I will not buy the pup. It's just the first red flag. At this point, I'm opening my eyes a little bit further, right? There's more things I need to see right off the bat. If somebody's selling you a bully for, I don't know, man, $1,000, I'm not saying that they're not ethical. I'm not saying that the American Bully's not good. All I'm saying is red flag number one, right? Anything under 3K, red flag number one. Why is that? It's because a lot of scammers know that the low-lying fruit is that person that's looking for a cheap bully. Guys, I'm going to tell you something. I'm not that guy that's going to tell you what you want to hear so we could get views, likes, and comments. I don't work that way. If you guys been watching me for the last 6 years, you know I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, not necessarily what you want to hear. And the truth of the matter is the word cheap, sale, discount, I need them out as soon as possible. These are all hooks that a lot of scammers use in order to catch that person that wants to get into the bully game, as they call it. This is not a game, but that's how they see it. And they want to do it on the cheap. Well, guess what? There's a bunch of scammers out here waiting for you. You could call them predators. You could call them scammers. Doesn't matter. End of the day, they want to part with your money, and you're not going to get anything in return. And in fact, they have heightened their game up to the point where they'll take a picture of a dog. Most recently, about a week ago, or in the last several days, I've seen them take a picture of Colossal, Full King Kennel's Colossal, and the lady's referring to the dog as so sad I lost her, this, that. First of all, that's a male, it's not a female. Second of all, you don't own the dog. But yet, the scammers are that bold. I have in the past had scammers use dogs, right, from my kennel in order to, get people to kind of buy into what they're selling and scam them. I will tell you this, and I got to say this for my brand. If you guys ever want to get in contact with QBN Kennel and know that you're talking with me, you need to download QBN app, right? And then down here, look, it says, okay, you can click on consult, for example, and then there's a contact us button. You click on that and you're going to be talking to me directly. There's no, I could care less what somebody's trying to scam you out your money. He's trying to tell you. If you really want to know it's me, that's all you need to do. You're going to be texting me directly. And the great majority of you that actually text, you already know that you're getting a text directly from me. And I'm usually pretty, I wouldn't say immediate, because sometimes I do have my hands tied, but I'm pretty fast as far as responding. Dupree says we still need that in-depth live video on which specific chromosomes of the cartilage and tendons. Dupree, we're working on that. We're going to get there slowly but surely. Here's the deal. AI is great, but I've caught AI lying to me, or not even lying to me, just giving me the wrong information, or, so it takes me time because I have to verify. And sometimes I have to go outside of my 3 sources, because sometimes these particular sources don't have exactly what I'm looking for. But we'll get there, man, sooner than later. Back to what I'm talking about with scams. People will take pictures of dogs that they don't own and try and sell them to you. Now, how do you protect yourself from that? Well, guys, you got to use technology, and you got to use a little bit of know-how to the best of your advantage. I could care less who's selling you a dog. It could be me. It could be the guy next to you. It could be Reyes Kennel right here. Tell them, hey, man, can you FaceTime me and show me the pup live so I could ask you a thing or two? Okay. This is going to assure you, first of all, that that person is who they say they are, and they actually have the puppy with them. I could care less what kennel it is. They should be able to give you a FaceTime verification. Okay. This gives you a certain level of assurance, right? So that's number 1. Number 2, there should be a contract. That's it. Checking in. Be the change. Nothing but love. Appreciate you. There must be a contract, guys. If somebody's unwilling to go live, unwilling to give you a contract, what is that telling you already? Like, guys, don't ever be suckered. I don't care how good a puppy is. There's one out there as good, if not better. Bottom line, you need to take your blinders off and realize that as good as any puppy looks, you need to comprehend that you're dealing with the breeder behind that puppy. And the breeder behind that puppy is going to make or break a deal or the sale or whatever. So the first thing you need to do is protect yourself. Now, another thing is, for example, one of the ways, what's up, Dietrich Higgins? One of the ways we accept payment is through PayPal. Now, PayPal is one of the surest ways that you can send payment and kind of have some sort of assurance. Okay. Now, if you're dealing with a breeder that tells you from the very get, I don't have PayPal, or I've been banned from PayPal, that's a pretty big red flag, man, because to be banned from PayPal means that previous customers have actually, have pretty much clicked on, hey, I didn't get my puppy, or whatever the case may be, and actually froze their funds. And once you get that done several times, what ends up happening is PayPal says, we no longer want you using our platform to do business, because you're actually giving us more of a black eye than actually helping us out, right? So PayPal does that. They're more ethical. Now, that doesn't mean that if a breeder doesn't have PayPal, automatically they're unethical and this and that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you got to use a little bit of your common sense. You got to see what's going on. So if you have a guy you're asking to FaceTime the pup, he doesn't show you. He's not answering questions. He's kind of delaying on responses. He wants you to pick a 2-week-old puppy. We're going to get into that here in a second. And on top of that, he doesn't have PayPal. You may be dealing with a situation. I'm just saying. I can own that it's my own darn fault I got scammed. It's really hard to say not to the cutest, and the scam artist knows that. Oh, it's hard to say no to the cutest. I got you. The puppy being the cutest. Just be the chain. Just had an accident with our pit bull. I guess make and our pocket bully. We had a singleton. Your thoughts on the size of the puppy? Oh man, Honestly, your guess is as good as mine, fam. Look at mom, look at dad, and it could go either way. I'm sorry to hear that happened for you. Inserata says, I've seen that scam for likes with multiple different dogs. So sad I lost her, only 1.5 years old, for clicks. Yeah. It's really, it is just pathetic, man. Reyes says, tell them about the mentorship membership. Okay, let me say this quickly since Reyes is asking for it. So, guys, if you want to become a member of this channel, we could have this conversation just like we're having it. You see, everyone that's got this little thing right here, it tells me that they're a member. We're going to be answering all member questions before we leave the live tonight. If you're a non-member, I may have to skip over your questions, okay? Just keeping it real with you. Now, when you decide to become a member, you could go down to the description below of this very live, and you have various levels of membership. You could actually become a mentorship level member if you like. That includes 20 minutes one-on-one FaceTime consults like this, except it's going to be you on the other end and me over here on my phone talking to you. And pretty much, you know, we're going to talk every and anything you want to talk to that's got to do with dog business, breeding, genetics, whatever. All right. So just throwing it out there. Reyes, thank you for reminding me, man. I'm beloved. Let me catch up here. Let's see. Malachi saying, what's up, Bully fam? Shade Tree showing some roses. They ain't even got Cash App. Laugh out loud. And Louis DeMille Graham. Louis, you can become a member for as little as $5 a month, and we're going to answer your questions on the live. But if you want a higher mentorship level, you can get that as well. It's up to you how you want to handle it. All right. So the other thing that I just previously mentioned is one of the ways you know you're dealing with an unethical breeder is somebody that's having you pick puppies at 2 weeks old. So we're going to break this down nice and slow. So, you know, from somebody that's been doing this for years to somebody that's brand spanking new, you're going to be able to pick up and understand what I'm talking about. Puppies, right? They truly don't start showing or giving you flashes of who they're going to be until they're about 10 weeks old. And at that point, all you're getting is a 70% to 65% snapshot of who that puppy can be once they're grown. Now, that other percentage, that 30 to 35%, that could go north, that could go south, that could go east, west. And not me nor anybody else in this world can tell you exactly what's about to happen. They're going to want to represent that. They're going to make it seem like they know, right? But truly, truly, it's a crock of shit. It really is, because nobody knows. You got to understand, if you were to unwind genetic code of any dog microscopically, you can literally run it from Miami, Florida, all the way to Seattle, Washington. You mean to tell me you know exactly what's about to come out of all those combinations? It is impossible, guys. So I keep it real with you. Rican Blue says you have to research, communicate with breeder before purchasing a pup, laying hands on parents if possible. Michael Higginson, scammers are prevalent and picking puppies can make or break you. I will say this. Guys, and this is why this topic is so significant and so important. I could care less if you've been breeding for 20 years. In my mind, the most important thing a breeder must be able to do is pick the right pup. If you are putting two dogs together and you're mating them, you're spending $10,000 on a stud, you bought a $10,000 female, they mate, and you did not keep the best pup out of that litter, you're failing as a breeder. I'm going to tell you why. Because I don't have to spend the $10,000 on the stud. I don't have to spend $10,000 on that female. I could see that you bred these two dogs. I could sit there and look and see what's available. And in my mind, I have an idea who I feel the best pup is. And more likely than not, I'm going to beat you on the pick. You see what I'm saying? So if you have the ability to be able to choose a pup, that's going to put your program way ahead. It's going to speed things up a lot faster than if you don't. Okay, hands down. What's going on, A&W, number love? Can you send me the information? My friend, if somebody could help him out, give him the information. All you got to do is scroll down to the description of this video, and there's going to be a membership link there. Right now, it's only me here. My guy that's always here, Hollywood Holland, is not. So I can't assist you. However, if you could download QBN app, as soon as I get off the live, I could actually try and help you out if you like. Adam Field says, can you elaborate HI? I'm not sure what you're talking about, Adam, if you could specify a little bit more. QBN membership rules. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yep, and Yankee stud fees and back deals. Some try to get away without even letting the customer pick which puppy they're even getting. So, I'm glad you're bringing this up, Dupree. If you're dealing with somebody that is asking for money up front, right, and he or she's selling you, say, a 2-week-old puppy. First of all, they're selling you a 2-week-old puppy and they're forcing you to pick. Get out of that situation, because more likely than not, the reason they're selling you a puppy at 2 weeks is because they want to get it out of their own hands and into your hands at, say, 4 or 6 weeks, I've seen. And the reason they want to do that is because at 6 weeks, a lot of the prevalent flaws are not going to show. They're not going to show. So if they have a situation in their yard where the dogs are having rear issues, front issues, bite issues, whatever, you're not going to see it. And then 4 weeks go by after you got the pup, and you realize the puppy has an underbite, and you call them up. First of all, they might not answer. And if they do, they're going to say it's your fault. It's that simple. Thank you, Lewis. I appreciate you. He's been following us for the last 5 years, man. Appreciate it. Good evening, the best damn bully fam. Thank you so much. If they can't give you the purpose of the breeding and a quick rundown of each puppy's attributes and temperament, I would say be worried. I would agree with that. Reyes says, I got scammed from someone who didn't have paperwork on hand. Here's another big one, but would send it to you when they got them, and I never received anything, even after they said it's in the mail going to me. Man, Reyes, I can't believe you fell for that one. Unfortunately, I had to rehome the pup. Yeah, absolutely. I won't sell a pup no earlier than 10 weeks. That's what we do, and that's what we recommend. On the device, you will see join. The other thing that, oh, he's saying try the hot sauce. Okay. The other thing that I've noticed that they'll do is actually big breeders, guys. You'd be surprised. I'm not one to use my platform as the tip of an arrow to destroy anybody or anything like that. But you guys know we get hit up for consults daily. There is a very big name out there, huge name. If I told you the name, you would just not believe what I'm about to tell you. So what they do is they were selling pups at the time. I believe was either 7,500 or 8,500. I don't remember. This is about 1.5 years to 2 years ago. And what they did is they wanted $2,000 deposits on these puppies. So what do you think they did? They actually received deposits on many people. I don't know the number. I can't say. But here's the thing. What are the odds that I'm going to receive in a week, right? I'm going to receive 6 to 7 consults on people telling me that they paid $2,000 deposits to this same breeder, and when the time came, they never got the puppy. Yet they saw someone posting the puppy online. And, you know, if you really sit down and you figure it out, what they did is maybe 10 or 20 people, they accepted a deposit. They only sold the puppy to one person. And they kept the $2,000 deposit for these other 19 people they took a deposit from. If you think about it, you're not going to go to a lawyer for $2,000. It's just not going to happen, right? So you've been caught. You've pretty much been caught. And they realized it. They realized it. So this breeder, this big name breeder, guys, when I say big name, I'm talking about huge, okay? Just sold the puppy for $45,000. That's how they did it. They scammed 19 people out of their $2,000 deposit and sold the puppy only to one person. How do you like them apples, right? So this is one of the reasons why I say this is just my recommendation. You guys do it however you like. Don't ever send any more than $1,000 deposit. And here's another big one. Here's another huge one. Listen closely. Do not, okay, do not send a deposit if a contract has not been guaranteed. So I'll give you an example. Me, I will not send you a contract unless you send a deposit, because how do I know you're serious? I need a deposit on hand, then I'll send the contract, right? So how do you guarantee that you're going to be getting a contract from me, right? Because it goes both ways. Well, I'm either going to text it to you, but to make it even more legal, I will email it to you. So if you give me your email or you send me an email and you say, okay, if I send you $1,000 deposits, will you send me the puppy contract? My response will be, yes, absolutely. It now becomes a legal document, right? As an email, because it also has a date and a timestamp. So that's how you go about that. Adam Field says, legally, you can't sell a pup under 8 weeks. Yeah, legally, but nobody really cares. And unfortunately, these scammers really don't care, man. It just is what it is. Hollywood's getting the night off. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. He might stick his head in here any minute now. What's going on, Jared Malero in Serrata? Yeah, absolutely. That litigation will cost you more than losing your 2K. Exactly. This is why this big kennel, humongous, guys, when I tell you humongous kennel, I mean, you wouldn't even believe that they would do such a thing. Don't need to do it. They're selling dogs at crazy numbers, right? But they do it anyways, right? Greed is just one of them things. So my recommendation is, the way to do it is, say you want to get a puppy from me. You're going to contact me. I'm going to tell you, okay, it's $1,000 deposit. You're going to pay the rest before pickup. So the way I do it, for example, is, say I have an upcoming breeding, which, by the way, my girl Ali is actually in heat right now. My girl's starting to come in heat. So just giving you an example. Adam Fields wants to get a pup from me. So he calls me up, say, Adam, you give me $1,000 deposit. I will send you the contract. Once the contract is signed and everything, you then have till the puppy is 10 weeks old to pay me before pickup. When do we pick puppies? Where, say, for example, the 10-week mark, I always round it, is on a Saturday, right? So that Thursday, we're going to pick puppies. I know that there are impatient customers and all that, but it's the most ethical thing to do, is to wait until the puppies are at minimum 10 weeks old before you make picks. Otherwise, what are you picking on? Color? Because a 2-week-old puppy is a scam. 4-week-old puppy's a scam. 6-week-old puppy's a scam. You're not going to see the flaws that may be there, right? So that's the reasoning behind that. Now, there are tangible and intangible things you need to be aware of. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you're buying the puppy from. I don't care what the puppy looks like. If the puppy has aggressive tendencies or fear-based tendencies, you may be buying a liability. Okay, dogs are going to bite for one of two reasons. They're either inherently aggressive or been made aggressive by the environment, or they're fearful or been made fearful, again, because of the environment. Either way, you don't want either. So one of the things we do as breeders, and I'm sure all breeders do this, a lot of times as a buyer, you may be so enthused that you let a breeder give you a weak response. And it's because you don't want, you know it's a red flag, but you want to let it slide because you want that puppy so bad, right? But here's the deal. All breeders know that if you get yourself a pan, say this is a metal pan, and you drop it, right? We all know a metal pan makes a lot more noise than that. What's going to happen is the puppies are going to react to this, especially when they're not seeing it coming, right? And so what ends up happening is the great majority of the pups should kind of duck down and then kind of look around and then sniff around and kind of try and figure out where that came from. Some may go to the pen at that point. Some may not want to, and that's fine. But there's two things you're looking for that should give you an immediate red flag not to get either one of those two pups. And that is, if you're to drop that pan, and once it hits the ground, you have a puppy running straight at it aggressively, yeah, that's not a good idea to get that pup. I can tell you that right now. Okay? It's really that simple. The other situation you don't want to see when you drop the pan and that noise is made, you don't want to see a puppy that cowers all the way to the corner with a tail between its legs, shivering like a leaf. You don't want to see that. You don't want to see that because that's a dog that's going to bite due to fear, right? And again, that becomes a liability. Also, I will say this. If it was an inbreeding, typically when there is an inbreeding, you can get too timid of a dog. You could get too aggressive of a dog. That's one of the chances people take whenever you inbreed because of the increase in the homozygosity, right? So if I am going to a litter and I see there's, say, two aggressive dogs or two timid dogs or one aggressive and one timid, for me, out of a 10-pup litter, if two puppies are acting this way, I want nothing. I want nothing because you may be walking into a situation where you may have some pups that may have either fear or aggressive issues later on down. Sally Adams, nothing but love. Thanks for joining us. Coach Karen says they keep it at a number they know suing them will cost more. Think small claims an attorney won't touch. No regulation on standard ones. And it's too, yeah. You're absolutely right, Coach. You're absolutely right. And what's crazy about it is they have such a big name and are well internationally known that you would never think that these people would dare to do, such a thing. But they're doing it. They're doing it, and they're doing it well. Reyes Kennel says, I like how you said, it's a red flag, but you want that pup. Reyes is the truth, man. A lot of people, they're gonna look away, right? And the breeder's like, oh no, we haven't tested them. Or, hey, do you have one of the best things to do with a breeder? And I was talking about it at lunchtime today. If they allow you to visit their yard, now, hear me out. I'm not saying if they say no to visiting the yard that they're unethical. I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to visit my yard. It's not going to happen. All right. And it's got to do more with privacy, safety reasons than anything else. Okay. But you should be able to see the majority of the litter, if not all, and mom and dad. Okay. You should be able to on request, right? But say the breeder allows you to come over. If they do allow you to come over, ask them at what time are the puppies fed, right? Because what you want to do is you want to be there when the puppies are feeding because that's going to give you a lot of information as to what their behaviors are. Okay, who's the alpha, who's the beta, who's the omega, etc. In addition, if you're able to go there while they're eating or even before they're eating, and you ask the breeder, hey, do you have a pot or a pan or something that makes a lot of noise I could drop when they're not looking, just to see how they react? And the breeder tells you a lame excuse like, oh, my grandmother is sleeping in the room over there and we don't want to wake her up. Think about it, man. You're about to drop $5,000-6,000, and this dude is talking about granny sleeping in the other room. No, more likely than not, they don't want you to do it because they don't want you to see the reactions that they've already seen when they've done it. It's the bottom line. Shane Cares, good evening from Sons and Daughters of Christ Bullies. What's up, man? Go with your gut. What is priority, pet or breed stock? Ha! The pre-anders, yeah, there's definitely some smart scammers out there. That's been scamming for a while. Yeah, especially, man, if I could only share that information with you guys would be floored. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. The priest says Granny needs her 8 hours, man. Yeah, exactly. Here's the thing. The other thing, you're obviously, so we're talking about things that are intangible. You can't touch it, right? Dog's temperament, behavior, you can't touch it, right? Intangible. The other thing you might want to do is pick up a pup they're interested in, put it over here on your arm and put your hand on his chest and look into its eyes. If that pup sits there and stares right back at you, yeah, you pretty much got a pretty docile dog. If that pup is kicking and not wanting to be there for a second, I mean, it might want to do that initially, but give it at least a good 10 seconds to relax and look at you. If it can't do that in about 10 seconds, might be reason for alarm. All right. Sulema says, can you describe how I'll know which is the beta, omega, or alpha? Yes, absolutely. So remember I said when you drop the pot, we don't want to see a dog running over there and we don't want one cowering. So we're going to take those two out of the picture. Let's talk about the group in the middle. When the pot initially drops, they're all going to squat around and then they're going to get up and they're going to start sniffing. And then some are going to start walking towards that pot that made the noise. Those more likely than not are going to be your alphas, but it's not 100% for sure. So kind of make a mental note. Okay, these two, they act like they want to go find out what it is. So think kind of like Scooby-Doo. You know how they're always chasing the ghost, trying to find out the mystery and that kind of thing. Well, the ones that are doing this, they have a more likely chance to be alphas, right? The betas are always going to be behind, kind of looking over their shoulder and whatnot, but they're not going to be the leaders, okay? And the omega is going to be behind the beta, kind of looking a little bit disinterested. It's not cowering and it's not shaking like a leaf either, but at the same time, it's really not interested in heading in that direction, okay? The second phase to that, remember I said, if you could see them eating or feeding, you're going to see that the alphas, unless the guy has them trained otherwise, the alphas are going to claim their food tray and they're pretty much going to push people out of it. Whereas the betas are going to allow the alphas to do that and take what's remaining. And the poor little omega has to take whatever's left from what the betas are letting them get into. So this is how it goes, right? This is how it goes. Also, let me say this. I've had people say that the alpha theory has been debunked by the very guy that, came up with the theory. Well, you may very well be right. And that is true. The person that came up with the theory has debunked it. But you could ask any breeder out here that's got 6 or more dogs. I don't care what breed it is. You ask those breeders that got 6 or more dogs if the alpha theory is alive and well. And I guarantee you that over 90% that actually know what's going on are going to tell you, yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I don't care if they're Yorkies, poodles, doodles, bullies, don't matter. The alpha theory is alive and well. Alive and well. In fact, yesterday, quick story. Yesterday, my girl, Sunshine, out of all dogs, let me rewind here. Let me show you guys my alpha female. My alpha female is this girl right here. Her name is Cadabra. Okay. And Cadabra is about 5 years old. And Cadabra, ever since we brought this girl Sunshine into my yard, Cadabra has kind of understood, I don't know how, that Sunshine is either special or Sunshine, by the way, Sunshine is also an alpha, or that, you know, little Sunshine is going to be the up and coming alpha. Who taught her that? Nobody did. But yesterday in the afternoon, I was out there with my dogs and I recorded a short, right, that we later uploaded. And it turns out Cadabra became highly jealous of Sunshine, of this girl right here. And long story short, a fight broke out because little Sunshine wasn't backing down from Cadabra. And I could tell you that Sunshine is an alpha. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I intervened, and it almost seemed like to me like Cadabra was this close to passing the torch to this little dog that's not even 9 months old to date. So craziness. Miss Shaytree, I really needed that today. Bless you. All right. Thank you. I'm sitting on my dad's side as he's transitioning. Thanks so much for blessing, Sally Adams. Shaytree, I was not aware of that. Sending nothing but love to you and your family. Prayers for you guys. I wasn't aware that you were going through that. Adam Field says alpha doesn't mean dominant. Alpha is a leader. That is correct. Alpha is a leader. And I have seen the passing of the torch of alphas, and it's never been a peaceful transition. There has been some sort of confrontation. Doesn't have to be a full-blown fight, but there is some sort of confrontation. This is how dogs communicate. I have an 8-month-old that's an alpha. Wow, there you go. So there's another one. Dogs are pack animals. All pack animals will have at least one alpha. It's very important to your alphas. Look, you need to listen to this guy. This dude's one hell of a breeder, Peter Stoiber. He's been doing this for quite a while. He knows full well that dogs, you know, all pack animals have an alpha. It's important to be your alpha's alpha. There you go. There you go, man. Coming from a breeder that's been doing it for 30 years. Have 4 presses all lived together until 2 alphas started going at it. Now they're all apart. There you go. In Sarata, I often look at the pups that learn things quicker, like the first one to learn to jump out of the box, first to start using the potty tray, one that leads the other pups into running around the yard. Well, in Sarata, I'll say this. The alpha dog, it's funny you say that. I like the fact you're bringing it up. The alpha dog typically is the dog that wants all the resources or wants to get to the resources first. Okay, that's another good sign. But I have seen that alpha dogs in my yard are usually not just the biggest, strongest, but they're definitely one of the smartest, if not the smartest dog. It really comes down to that. So I'm glad you brought that up. Rican Blues says, to me, mama is the alpha till you separate the pups. Yeah, I mean, to the puppies, she's the alpha, right? But if you're, yeah, I guess. Working Bully says, I have done heaps of mal tests on pups and mauls, German, shepherds, and bullies. I can 1,000% guarantee it can change daily up to around 6 months in terms of confidence, grip, environmental fear, etc. Okay, fair enough. Lead, be example. Yes. The other thing, look, let me share this with you. I have a female. Her name is Morticia. I talked about it today at lunchtime. Her name is Morticia. By the way, she comes from King Pope Kennels. King Pope, nothing but love, man, if you're watching. Um, so Morticia is one of a two-pup litter. It turns out that her brother was born a little bit sickly, and then he ended up passing away. So for all intents and purposes, she is more of a singleton pup than anything else. The thing about singleton pups, guys, if you guys uh, have produced a singleton or you're buying a singleton, you need to know this. Singletons do not have the ability of going through a bite inhibition stage unless that breeder has another litter of similar age that he could throw that puppy in, and then that's a different story. But if that puppy doesn't have the ability to have a sibling bite her square in the snout when she decides to bite him in the tail, what ends up happening is once that puppy leaves that environment, like in her case, I brought her here, she has been snapping at all the other pups I have, the older pups I got, and even Mama Aruba, who's the dog I'm putting her in the cage with, because Mama Aruba has taught her to go inside when it's cold so they could get, the heated environment and that sort of thing. So what's happening is Morticia is now growing more and more. Morticia doesn't understand that her bites are becoming harder and she's pulling more. She's actually also becoming more annoying to the other pups. So now what's happening is more and more the pups are putting her in her place. And I could not be happier. I could not be happier. You may think I'm crazy, but I'm not. You see, the thing is a lot easier to get that corrected now when she's a pup than it is when she's a full-blown adult. If she turns out to be a year and a half, and she's pulling the stuff she's pulling now, I'm going to have fights on a daily basis in my yard. And so the only way that that's going to be curtailed is by the pack as a whole, to be on top of her. In fact, my girl Cadabra, every time I give her the green light, she tears into her. And sometimes I let her because she needs it. If I see that her nipping and annoyance, it's increasing rather than decreasing, I'll let Cadabra go at her a couple of times. And no, I don't let her hurt the puppy or anything like that. But I do let the puppy know that she's the one that's running this yard and not the pup. Because a singleton pup, think about it. A singleton pup has unlimited resources. She has 12 titties to pull milk from. She doesn't have to compete with other puppies for it. It's always there. She always gets her way, right? So without her knowing, she is selfish. So now when I bring her to my yard, she thinks everything is owed to her. In fact, when I feed, right, I have two food trays, one for her, one for Aruba. She'll run to her tray and run to Aruba's tray and run to her tray and run to Aruba's tray. Pretty soon, I'm giving her about a month or two. And in a month or two, I'm going to room her with another pup. And this whole thing where she runs and takes a bite out of their food and then comes back to hers, it's about a cease and desist real quick. I can almost guarantee that. Marie says, one thing I've noticed is that in a litter of puppies, depending on the scenario at hand, different puppies will show alpha tendencies, but in the end, only one of the puppies takes the lead. This is why giving them until they're 10 weeks to pick gives you a better understanding of what's going on. If you look at a pack of pups and they're 6 weeks old, and you're determining who's the alpha there, it may change the following week, right? So I'm just saying, sometimes no, sometimes it's the same pup all the way throughout. Rob Finn, what's going on, man? In the building. Michael Higginson, people often ask me, what are the most important things to look for when selecting a pup? What would you tell them? Well, that's a very subjective question. We could sit here and talk structure all the time, but again, you need to value what's intangible. If you just base yourself on getting pups because they look the straightest and they're square and they got this and they got that, and you're taking home a dog that has aggressive propensities because it was inbred, then you're the one to blame for that. Now, I'm going to try and answer your question. For me, we're going to put temperament up there, right, as number one, right? So any pup that's showing, either fear or being overly aggressive is out of the picture. I will then be looking at structure, things like an H frame. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Let me take this off so you can see it. Right there, you're looking at an H frame. And if you notice on the H frame, the shoulders, if you look at the paws all the way at the bottom, right, and you were to make a straight line all the way up, right, they go straight all the way up to the shoulders, right? If you were to see, I'm sorry, I was trying to take the picture down. If you were to see a dog that has an A frame, it means that their shoulders are restricted in. And so the paws are going to be further out than where the shoulders are, right? So definitely I will be looking for dogs that have H frames. There you go. That's another H frame. You see how the shoulders are completely above the paws. By the way, that's my boy Fireball. There you go. And here's my girl Ali, who just recently went. You can see her shoulders right above her paws. She's not perfectly stacking there, but you're getting the idea. Okay. So these are one of the things that I look for the most. The other thing you want to look at is the top line. Okay. The top line is really important, but you want to see it in movement. If you ever see a breeder that all their advertising is puppies in the air, puppies, they keep holding puppies in the air, puppies in the air, puppies in the air. That's all fine and great, but when it's time for me to pick my pup, I need to see the puppies on the ground, right? Puppies on the ground and their movement, right? Even if you don't know anything about picking pups, the way they move, and you can actually compare it to the other puppies, you could tell who is moving, more flawless than, say, the others. If you see a puppy that's doing this and there's a leg constantly kicking out, there's an issue, right? And you got other puppies that are moving at a good pace. Nothing is kicking out. Everything's looking smooth. You should be able to pick up on that. You definitely want to check their bite, right? You want to be able to see if they have an overbite, if they have an underbite. If they have an over or underbite, it's not the end of the world. All right. Just make sure it's not an overbite that is 3 inches. I'm exaggerating. You don't want to see on a 10-week-old pup a 1 inch differential, either on an over or an underbite. That's just too exaggerative. But a 1 millimeter over or an underbite is not the end of the world. Let's see, man. Sabueso saying, when my female Maul was bred and she had a singleton, I decided to go and foster a litter from the shelter to put them together once they were old enough to avoid biting issues like that. I would totally understand. And yes, that's the thing to do. Or if you have a friend that has a litter, a lot of us, this is a breeding community. A lot of us know other breeders. If it takes me having to drive 2 hours and you're willing to have my puppy in your litter, I'll pay you whatever, and let him or her, go through the bite inhibition stage. That's really important, man. Squirrel Master, yeah, she's being socialized by other pups. Yeah, that's what I would do. Marie says, sorry to hear that, Shade Tree. Praying for comfort and strength for your family in tough times. Absolutely, Shade Tree. Shade Tree is one of the family. She's been with us for a very long time. We're sending nothing but love and prayers. Dietrich Hagen says, gotta go, guys. Have to go to work early. Oh, man. I love that girl, Sunshine. Yeah, we do too. Let me bring her up. Here she. You have to excuse me for sneezing. Here she is as a pup. And then here she is about a month later after that picture. And what's funny is this is what she looked like when she became champion. And then this is what she looked like about a month and a half after. She really filled in. And if you were to see her right now, guys, I kid you not, she's actually bigger than that. If you don't believe me, check out our lives. Check out whatever videos we got of her recently. She's really getting that much bigger. Let me see here. Michael Higgins says something that's good for people to know is breed type is something you can see in a young pup. They can mature and develop, but should have breed type as a puppy. This is true. What Michael means as breed type means that there's a resemblance of what an adult bully looks like. There should be a resemblance in the pups. If you're looking at a pup that, doesn't resemble a bully and actually looks more like a pit, for example, that may be cause for concern. But that's where the breeder comes in, and the breeder can show you pictures and say, look, this blood grows slow. Like, let me give you an example. Look at this picture. If you go all the way to the left, my boy Fireball looks like a straight up little pit bull at 12 weeks old, right? At 15 weeks, he's still looking a little bit like a pit, right? At 20 weeks, he's somewhere in there. And at the present, he obviously doesn't look like a pit. But you wouldn't know it unless I was able to give you a picture like this so that you could see, what he develops and how his pups develop. Now, let me say this. Just keep in mind, I was feeding him nothing but kibble when I got him at 12 weeks. And by the time he was 20 weeks old, if you notice there, he was developing east-west. It is at that time I decided to change his diet, and I didn't know it, but I was actually feeding what Nuvet has in their ingredient list. I just wasn't feeding the same dosages as them. But if you notice, I started improving him. By the time he was 2.5 years old, we started giving him Nuvet, and look at him now at present. It goes to show that, Nuvet not only corrected him, it also brought on a lot of mass. Now, mind you, he also matured himself, and Nuvet has nothing to do with that. But, Nuvet has had the ability to not only help him, and we have it up here, by the way, but I just want to let you guys know over here, the green bottle. The green bottle is a multivitamin. The blue bottle right here, NuJoint DS, is actually joint support. If you order it with our ordering code 513237 and you do auto ship, you're going to get an additional 13% off, and that should be able to cover your shipping, guys. Now, look, I'm going to show you. Not only does it have good vitamins in there, it's got phosphorus, potassium, zinc, and calcium and selenium. This is really important for how fast the bone develops. You got to remember, we're in a breed where bone develops rapidly. A lot of you would think that's a good thing, but it really isn't, because the soft tissue, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, have very little blood supply, and they cannot keep up with the pace of longer, faster growing bones. The longer and the faster growing bone, the more torque you got at the end of those bones, and that's where the ligaments, tendons, and cartilage comes in. And that's where NuJoint DS comes in along with Nuvet. And the other one's giving you some minerals. This right here, check it out. Look what it's giving you. Let me see if I can get it to focus. It's giving you glucosamine, chondroitin, MSM, vitamin C, and it is also weight-based as far as what you're giving. It corrected my dogs. It's corrected many other dogs out there, and I've had many people write to us telling us great things about Nuvet. Coach Karen says, oh, Squirrel Master, I think he liked the drone video. Coach Karen says, dog allergies, Raul. That's why I'm sneezing. Yeah, right? No, actually, I think it's got to do with the fact that we had snow, and then the snow went away, and then you get where I'm coming from. Rican says, my pups are now 12 weeks. Now I'm looking at everything, structure, temperament, behaviors, and introduction to adult dogs and how they interact with each other. Very key. Very key. As a buyer, you want to be able to see these interactions as well. Ask the breeder to show you videos, right? This is one reason why we go live at least once a week from the yard showing people everything we got. You know, we're constantly taking videos of the dogs, pictures, whatever, posting it up. That's who you want to deal with, because they're being transparent. They're showing you everything that's there. Malachi, also, everyone, remember to be patient with your pups, y'all, especially XLs. My boy went from A-frame to lanky to H-frame now, all only in 8 months. There's no guarantee, but enjoy the process. Yes, this is true, Malachi. That's why I said that at 10 weeks, you get a 65 to 70% snapshot of who that puppy can be. But you're absolutely right, especially with XLs, you got to give them a little bit more time. 20 weeks from pig to piglet, those ears, haha. Shade Tree, thank you, love and prayers, family. God bless. You got it, Shade Tree. Listen, guys, this is the conclusion of this live. Well, tell you what, I'm going to extend it real quick just to talk a little bit more on structure, and then we're going to go ahead and conclude it. But real quick, you want to see harmony in the pups that you're about to pick. So I'm bringing up this puppy because I want you to see the head size on this pup in relation to the rest of the body, right? There's a sort of harmony in her. I'm not saying that she's perfect. I'm not saying she's the best puppy on earth. What I am saying is that there is some symmetry and harmony in what I'm looking at. Keep in mind, the puppy you get, it doesn't have the symmetry and harmony right off the bat. It's going to be a puppy who you're going to have to find a mate that's going to be able to come with that pup and create the symmetry and harmony. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying it's one more thing that you guys are going to have to be dealing with. The other thing I definitely want to bring up is genetic testing. If you're dealing with a breeder and that breeder is not genetic testing, then you're dealing with a breeder that may have genetically tested but doesn't want to show the world the results. Is that truly somebody you want to deal with? Don't get me wrong, there are some breeders out here that are phenotypical breeders and they could care less about genetic testing. But if you're about to put $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 in somebody's hands, wouldn't you want as many assurances as you can get? That's something you're going to have to determine on your own. Rican Blues says, don't be kennel blind when it comes to these pups. My biggest issue is kink tail on some of the pups right now on second litter. Yeah, Rican. Yeah, Rican. And you know, kink tails, I've spoken on this many, many times. It is done in the mesoderm, right? Because the tail is part of the spine. And so the spine, the heart, the kidneys, and the eyes are all done in the mesoderm. So sometimes when you're able to clear the kink tail, you're actually exchanging it for something else that could be far worse. Coach Karen says, right back to you, Shade Tree. You will be in my thoughts and prayer, hon. Nothing but love. Guys, I'm going to cut it off here. Just know we go live Monday at 7 p.m. CST. Remember, our ordering code for Nuvet is 513237. Reyes Kennel says, thank you for what you do, Raul. Much respect and love for you and your program. Nothing but love, man. Hey, and we're going to be there on Monday. I might have a special guest. Either way, we're going to be talking dogs. And I'm sure you guys are not going to want to miss it. Either way, it's Big Raul from the Q, and I'll be catching you on the next
Here we go, kill the whistle. Oh yeah, we are going for a whole hour. Straight dog talk and the song. Jump on in and speculate. Show up on time, don't be weak and late. We are community, so don't hate and learn to cooperate.